Join Sid on this edition of It's Supernatural.
Hello, Sid Roth. Welcome to my world, where it's naturally supernatural. There is the atmosphere of heaven on this set, and if the atmosphere of heaven is on this set, it's going to invade wherever you are right now. My guest, David Jones, taught for 6 months on something that was so significant that the most unusual miracles started erupting. Feathers, all different colors, angel feathers started materializing in very amazing ways. Precious gemstones stones from heaven started materializing. We'll find out what jewelers had to say about it. Diamonds started materializing, cut better than the finest jeweler ever. We're going to find out what he taught, because I believe what he taught is mandatory for miracles to take place. And I believe that this is a moment in history in which everyone that knows God will walk in the miraculous. David, you were sabotaged from the beginning.
Oh, yes.
Your father, I mean, it's hard for me to comprehend this, but your father used to fight with you. Explain.
Oh, yes. He was a boxer. He was a fighter naturally, and he wanted me to be a tough guy. So he would always challenge me, punch me in my chest, knock me down, get up and get your best hope. Try me. Come on, show me what you got. And I resented it. Number one, I loved my father, and I just resented trying to retaliate against him. So when I got in fights in the nightclubs and the dance halls, I didn't hold back nothing. I said, no one's going to hurt me anymore, and no one's going to tell me what to do.
And you left home at an early age.
13 years of age.
But what you just said, a lot of people are saying, no one's going to tell me what to do. One of you listening to me right now, that's what you just recently said. No one's going to tell me what to do. And
yes.
you went into the Marines.
Went into the United States Marine Corps.
What did they equip you for?
Killing machine.
Really?
Killing machine. Yeah. They say you have a strong backbone and you can think when you're at battle and you're at war. So I became a 0311 rifleman. First they hit the beaches, and they used me as a killing machine. That's what it was for.
And then when you got out of the Marines, what was your life like?
Oh, it was even worse, you know. I still resented authority. I didn't want to have nothing to do with people trying to control me or tell me anything. I was walking in pride and didn't even know it. And one thing I found about walking in pride is that you're so blind that you're ignorant to the fact of it, that you're walking in a prideful attitude which is so detrimental to you and everyone around you.
And, you know, amazing, in that situation, God gave you a revelation of the end of time. What did you see?
Oh, man, it was incredible. It was just like me sitting here watching you. I was 17 years of age, and I remember I was at home at night, and I had the radio, and I was turning the channels, and I heard a woman scream, and it wasn't like it was behind the house or in front of the house. It was like in the air. So I went to go towards the window, and I said, wait a minute, if I go towards that window, I'm going to see something that I don't want to see. But see it, I was compelled to go, so I went. And it was a second story, and I looked down, and I thought I was going to see a woman maybe stabbed or something, and I didn't see nothing. But when I came up and my eyes hit the heavens and the stars, it's just like a motion picture, the moon just, and it's like someone took a knife and just poked into the moon, and the blood began to ooze out of the moon. And then the stars in the heavens just said, and the sky itself said, and see it, all this was happening simultaneously. The moon turned to blood. The stars fall from the heavens. The sky roll up as a scroll. And then all of a sudden I seen a lady with long black hair looking at all these events taking place on the earth, and she took her fingernails and began to dig in her face and scratch and began to run. And then I seen 10 people running, 100 people running, thousands of people running and screaming what was taking place on the earth. It's like all time stood still for God. This is His hour. This is His time. And the look on their faces when they were running was... They were running, falling on top of each other. All of a sudden, everything went blank. Everything was clear, and I fell to the ground, and I was trembling and shaking like, I didn't see that. No, I didn't see that. Then I said, yes, I did. So I said, let me get the Bible. So I started walking through the house, and I was saying, God, please don't let me see nothing else. Please, Lord, I don't want to see nothing else. And I got the Bible, and I didn't even know this was in the Word of God. And I just opened up the Bible, and it went to Revelation, where it said the moon shall turn to blood, and the stars shall fall from the heavens, and the sky shall roll up as a scroll.
You didn't know that was there beforehand?
I didn't know that was. And when I opened it up, I opened it up right to it, because God had to take me there, Sid, because at first I thought I was losing my mind. I didn't know this was an open vision. I didn't know anything about visions.
And then someone invited you to their church. I mean, you were running from things like that.
Yes.
Why did you go? Why, David?
Because the guy was funny. He was a Christian. He was funny. He had big eyes, and he'd be talking to me about God. He said, wait a minute. Are you looking at my eyes? I said, no. He said, yes, you're making fun of my eyes. I said, no. And we just started laughing. He said, come on, be my guest at church. He got me with laughter. And so I said, okay. I said, well, wait a minute. I don't have any clothes. He said, God is not looking at your clothes. He's looking at your heart. And so we went to church, and I sat in the back, and the evangelist made the altar call, and I was sitting back there in the valley of decision. I said, man, I don't know if I can live saved. I don't know if I can do it. And so I didn't get up the first night. That was on a Thursday night. And so I went back to work. But before I left church, the pastor was at the back door saying, you going to come and be back with us tomorrow night, son? This is the house of God where everybody's somebody. I said, yes, sir. So I went to work the next day at Ford Motor Company. My boss brings me that big old check. And I said, oh, yes, me and my brother going to party hardy tonight. Then I said, wait a minute. I told that man of God I was coming to his church on a Friday. What did I do that for? I put the check in, and
That's party night.
Oh, that's party night for me. And I said, wait a minute. Why did I tell him that? Sid, when I made up in my mind to do what I want to do like I've always done, I said, no, I'm not going to that house of God. I'm not going to church. I'm going to party. I fell on the conveyor belt. And when I fell on the conveyor belt, parts was hitting me in the head. Everybody was like, hey, somebody help him, get him. Sid, I wanted to lift myself up, but I had no strength. All of a sudden, God started allowing me to hear my heart beat. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Then I started fading out more. I said, oh, no. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Then I began to pray, please give me another chance, Lord. Boom, boom, boom. I'll go to this man of God church. Please give me another chance. Boom, boom. Have mercy, Lord. Boom, boom. And everybody was around me saying, are you all right? I didn't pay any attention. I said, don't do me like this. I'll go to this man of God church. I said, I made it there. Well, before I went, my friends came over my house ready to party. I said, hold it. I'm not going with you guys. I said, I almost died today. My heart almost stopped beating. I said, I'm going to the house of God. They say, man, this guy done gone crazy. I said, I don't care what you guys said. I'm going to the house of God. I went, sat in the back. They made the altar call. I started walking down the aisle, and I heard the devil say, get out of this church. Run, run. And I said, no. I was brought up in church as a little boy. I said, no, I must save myself. And I went to the preacher, and he said, son, do you want to be saved? I said, yes, sir. Yes, sir, I want to be saved. There's like big yokes just lifted off me. And when I went to grab his hand, the power of God hit me, and I went straight back, and wasn't no ushers there to catch me. But when I hit the floor, it was like falling into a bed of cotton, and there was a bunch of sisters right there, and they jumped back. They were looking at me, and back then I thought I was a cool daddy, Sid. So I said, wait a minute, what am I doing on this floor? All these pretty girls looking at me. Then the supernatural began, and it began in my belly. Then it got in my chest. Then it got in my throat. Then my tongue began to cleave to the roof of my mouth. And Sid, I was on alcohol, drugs, cocaine, a mess, THC, all those drugs, but I never experienced such joy, such peace. I never experienced before.
After that event,
yes,
were you still addicted to those drugs?
Never again.
And listen, he started doing the most extraordinary things in dealing with physical strength. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back to It's Supernatural.
David had an encounter with the power of God. He got off of alcohol, he got off of drugs, but some amazing things happened to you. You used to go out into the woods and pray. But one day, something strange happened. Explain.
Supernatural. It was a time of my life for 10 years. God had me in a season of fasting and praying, but more prayer than fasting. And this night I thought it was going to be my normal. I'll go out and worship the Lord and just love on the Lord, and the Lord began to speak to me. But no, when I walked out and I was getting ready to worship Him, I heard the Lord speaking to my hearing, run. And then I was like, run, this is unusual. And I didn't obey the prayer. And then I heard Him say, run. And so I began to run. And I began to run all of a sudden the neighbor's dog ran alongside of me that was out there with me, and I began to run. All of a sudden the supernatural power of God becoming upon me. All of a sudden I began to run so fast that I left the dog, and I can't tell you, was it a quarter mile?
You outran the dog?
I outran the dog and left the dog. My legs were going so fast, it shocked me. I was running like Superman or Flash or somebody. It was just supernatural. But when I came to a dead stop, I wasn't breathing hard, and I just fell to my knees, and I said, oh, my God, what's happening? Then I heard the Lord said, I want you to stay in the race, son. I'm going to use your body in supernatural feats and in signs and wonders.
God taught you how to walk in something, a word that most people don't even understand, don't even comprehend, but it's so important to God. If you want to be elevated to the next level with God, if you want to be used in this mighty outpouring of God's Spirit, you must understand what David Jones spoke about for 6 months. The subject is humility. How did God start to teach you about this with a co-worker?
Well, we got hired, and at that time I was doing red iron steel work where we had big wrenches and tightening up bolts and red iron beams. And so we was up about 3 stories, and his name was Gar, and he asked me what was my name, and I told him. And so as a couple of days went by, he said, man, get your so-and-so over here and help me. And I was like shocked, and I walked over to him. I said, you know, I was always taught to respect a man. I respect you. I don't want to hear what you got to say. Let's get to work. And then I was trying to pray, Sid, and then I just gotten saved, and I said, Lord, you know, I don't want to pray anymore. I'm just going to hit this man with this wrench. I say, if he'd say anything to me, then the boss came up and broke us up, and then lunchtime came, and so I took my little New Testament out, and I began
You were really going to hit him in the face with a wrench?
Oh, with all my might. And with all my strength, as hard as I could. And
that's not very humble.
Oh, that's not humble at all.
Okay,
and,
go ahead.
But it's sure enough true. And so I got my New Testament out, and the Lord took me to a verse that my grandma taught me. The first Bible verse was Hebrews 12:14. Follow peace with all men, holiness without which no man shall see the Lord. And I began to cry, Sid, and I began to pray. I said, God, I don't want to hurt people anymore. I was taught to kill in the Marines. I don't want to hurt anyone anymore. I said, please help me. Now, Sid, first I wanted to hit him with the wrenches, but now I'm praying for him. Okay. All of a sudden, the boss didn't allow us to work together. He separated me. I'm down sorting out bolts. Here he come right to me. All of a sudden, the power of God picks me up, and I looks him in the face, and I say, Gar, it's better for a millstone to be tied about your neck and cast into the depths of the sea than to mess with one of God's little ones. I said, that's all I'm going to say. He said, you don't said enough. And then he walked off, storming off. And I was like, oh, God, have mercy. The next day when he came to work, all side of his face was swollen up. His eye was closed in, and he came straight to me. He said, look at my face, man. Look what happened. I said, what happened to you? He said, I don't know. I just woke up this morning, and my face was like this. And he said, and it constantly hurts. And he walked away, and I said, Lord, have mercy. Have mercy. I didn't say, that's what you get, messing with a Christian. No. I didn't rejoice. I said, Lord, have mercy. Touch him, Lord, heal him. And the Lord healed him. From that day forward, Sid, that man treated me like I was somebody. And God showed me. He said, son,